It's time for Mornings at 8 with Jonathan Mark on AM 1480 WLEA.
And we are off and running. It is 5 minutes after 8 o'clock on a Wednesday morning. Wow. It was sort of a dark and stormy morning. At least it was earlier around, I was up around 2 or something. And there were 3 distinct lines of thunderstorms that passed not exactly over us, but kind of around us. At least it didn't hit Allen or anything. But from where I could see on our side porch there was lightning and thunder north of here, and there was lightning and thunder south of here. But I could watch them on the radar if I went inside on the net, and it looked like they were heading right for us, and then they kind of parted, and they went north and south. I don't know how it was here in Hornell, but wow, a dark and stormy morning. Yes, sir. Well, this is Wednesday. Normally I say halfway through the week, but for a lot of people, the week hasn't really even started yet. School, that's right. I think Canaseo Greenwood started this morning, according to Brian's story there, and Hornell starts Thursday, Arkport starts Thursday, and Alfred Allen starts on Thursday. And by the end of this week, I think all schools ought to be back in session, and off we go. The 2019-2020 school year will be underway. There you go. Okay, well, let me see here. The pavilion's going back up in Almond, as you heard on Brian's News, and a courtesy of Lowe's. Isn't that nice? So Lowe's apparently will be funding that. I think that's an absolutely great idea. It's too bad that they don't advertise on here, but it really is a nice store, and it's very nice that they're going to pay for that. And there you go. It's a very nice gesture. Also, Saturday, Community Day in Almond. It's going to be a big one. Oh, yeah. It gets bigger and better every year. Yup, yard sales. Yard sales start way at one end of the village of Almond, and it goes right down 21. I mean, yard sales. Yes, sir. Yard sales all over the place. It should be a very, very nice day, and I hope the weather holds out. Because a lot of times it's rained. I don't know how it works out, but a lot of times it's rained on that Saturday. But let's hope it stays okay this year. Yes, Brian.
I'm raising my hand. The audience can't see that.
I thought you wanted to go use the restroom. No? Okay.
Or go to the library. I need
or
a
the
pass.
library. That's right, yeah.
Just got an email from Hornell Mayor John Buckley.
Yes.
And he's encouraging people not to smoke or use vaping devices at bus stops in the city because it's near children.
Oh, okay.
So he's encouraging there's a ban apparently, so no smoke. He's just reminding people no smoking, no vaping near school bus stops.
I think that is an absolutely great idea. I am in full agreement with that. Smoking, there are a few things you could do that are stupider for you and dumber than smoking. What's dumber than smoking? Probably jumping off a 10-story building might be worse, I think, but smoking's really bad, and you don't want to set a bad example for kids, and things are bad enough the way they are, so let's keep them safe. Okay, let's see here. Boy, I have so much news this morning. I mean, I have a bunch of, there's no way, there is absolutely no way. I have about, I would say, 2 inches thick of paper here, of stories. So there's no way I'll hit all of them. But this one's kind of pertinent, I think. Let me see. Of course, what's in the news now is Hurricane Durian. And, where did I find this? The Hill. And this is so fascinating, I'll tell you. World-renowned climatologist and historian. Now imagine that, multifaceted, world-renowned climatologist and historian, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC and ordinary chowderhead. Well, she has done extensive research. I don't know, as I said, she's multifaceted, multi-talented, who knows? But she has done extensive research. And apparently, what was she tweeting yesterday? Let me see. AOC retweeted a video showing the extent of the damage already caused by Hurricane Durian as it ravaged the Bahamas over the past few days. Let me see. She tweeted, "I can already hear climate deniers screeching, 'It's always been like this. You're dim,' etc." she wrote. "No," she said, "this is about science and leadership. We either decarbonize and cut emissions, or we don't, and let people die. That's what she tweeted. Hey, so what did Joe Biden say recently? We choose science over fact or something like that. Anyway, so that was Joe Biden. So what she says is, let me see. Apparently, this is all caused by climate change. Hurricane Durian and all other hurricanes are caused by climate change. Wow. As I said, she has done her research. She's done her research. Ocasio-Cortez has championed the Green New Deal since entering Congress, largely on a platform of addressing climate change and its disproportionate effects on low-income people. So, there we have it. This hurricane is caused by climate change. Wow. Anyway, after her extensive research, she has found that prior to the past, let's say, 10 years, there have never been any destructive hurricanes, ever. Ever. And she researched back in the 20th century, the 19th century, the 18th century, the 17th century, the 16th, the 15th, and the 14th centuries, but there have never been any super-duper destructive hurricanes ever. So she has also found that the early Spanish and Portuguese explorers were only kidding when they wrote about monster storms in the Caribbean. They were just kidding. She really is a wonder. She's an absolute wonder. There you go. So apparently, you see, these early explorers, when they wrote of these big, big hurricanes and monster storms, they were only kidding. Whew. Okay, that's good. Let me see here. This is from Albany County, and this is kind of unusual. It's worth thinking about. Albany County legislators are considering putting a term limit on their posts, as well as those of the county executive and the controller. The proposed legislation, which is scheduled to be voted on this coming Monday, would limit officials to 12 years in office. If passed, Local Law T, that's what it's called, T, would take effect at the beginning of next year and would limit Albany County's 39 legislators, the county executive, and the controller to 3 4-year terms. It would not include people who were serving partial terms. And whose idea was this? Latham Republican Todd Drake. He says, what we're looking to accomplish here is eliminating that status quo government that's been going on for decades. It's not just here, it's everywhere. He says, what motivated me to get involved in government was standing by and watching that same old go by every single day. Drake said by creating term limits, it ensures excitement and energy in government continues and gives other people in Albany County the opportunity to serve. When an elected official has been in office for a long time, people don't have the money or the connections to take them on, he said. Huh. That's pretty interesting. He says, let me see. He also is considering another law. He's proposed an anti-nepotism policy. Anti-nepotism policy that would prohibit the hiring or appointment of relatives of elected county officials to any paid jobs that qualifies as a policy-making official or high-ranking county job. The legislation hasn't really gained any traction, but there will be a public hearing on that September 24th. He says, I think it's important that the public understand who is being hired for these roles, that they're qualified, and that they're the best choice regardless of familial or other connections, he said. So, that's in Albany County. Term limits. Huh. Wow, that's been talked about many, many times on many levels of government, and term limits for Albany County. That would be very interesting, and I think it's a pretty good idea. Let me see. This was this is from CNN. However, it was on a lot of places. I just happened to get this off CNN. But people living in central New York reported hearing a loud, fearful boom on Monday night. The American Meteor Society said on Tuesday, yesterday, that witness reports of a boom, which was accompanied by a bright streak of light across the sky, was likely a large fireball entering the Earth's atmosphere over Lake Ontario. One lady said, let me see, I was standing in the driveway facing north when the burning object passed above the trees from east to west. It lasted a second or so and had a trail behind it. And a few minutes later, I heard a very loud boom. Mike Hankey, operations manager of the nonprofit meteor astronomy organization, told CNN that they got a lot of emails from people about the boom and that it seemed significant. What they were seeing, he said, was the light produced by the object colliding with the atmosphere, noting that there was typically a 1 to 2 minute delay between the sound and the visual reports. Or actually, the visual reports and the sound, I think, would be more like it because sound travels slower than light, right? Some of the witnesses described Monday's fireball as a bright, fast streak that appeared across the blue sky for a short few seconds before it disappeared behind the clouds and was followed by an explosive sound. Wowee. Another witness told the AMS that it sounded like they were standing an inch away from the biggest firework possible being let off. It was so loud, one lady said, it was so loud my house shook. I felt it in my chest and had me stand still for a moment in panic. I got ready to load my children up with their emergency bags because I thought the power plant 12 miles away blew up. So far, the group hasn't received any reports of damage. So there we have it. A fireball is brighter and is a brighter. That's how they write here. There's no A there. There should be an A right there. Fireball is a brighter and larger meteor that rockets from a vacuum of space at speeds of up to 10,000 miles an hour, or tens of thousands of miles an hour. It can explode when it collides with a denser atmosphere, creating a sonic boom. So there you go. There are approximately 20,000 fireball reports every year. And if I saw one once, and it was amazing. It was spectacular. I had never seen anything like that at all, ever. It was really cool. However, I didn't see this one. It was, as I said, was over Lake Ontario, and the majority of reports came from people who live between Rochester and Syracuse. So that was going on Monday. How do you like that? Okay, we have good people, and then we have not so good people. Here's a good person. If you found $9,000 in an envelope, just ask yourself this, and be very honest. If you found $9,000 in an envelope, what would you do? Okay, probably, yeah. I trust our listeners. Right, you're right. You would probably hand it in or give it to a cop or something like that. Well, a Long Island Railroad rider left $9,000 in cash on a train, but he got it back because an honest conductor turned it into the cops. Jerry Savino was working last Thursday. Where was it? In Hempstead on Long Island, when a passenger informed his crew of an unattended file folder suitcase on the overhead rack. Savino looked inside and saw a wallet, tax documents, checkbooks, and the cash in an envelope. And the envelope had a dollar sign on it, and it said $9,000. So he looked inside, and yep, $9,000, that's what's in there. So he's going, I think I will turn this in. So he told the supervisors, and they found the owner of the thing, and so he got his $9,000 back. Savino was honored by transit brass and labor leaders at a rare joint press conference on Tuesday, which was yesterday. So there you go. And General Chairman of the Sheet Metal, Air, Rail, and Transportation Workers, the Long Island Railroad's largest union, said, "This is what we do every day. This is something we don't hear every day." Well, I don't know if it's every day, but this guy found $9,000 and handed it over. Absolutely great. We need more people like that. There you go. And then, on the other end of the ethics scale, wow, at the other end of the ethics scale, we have this. Members, where'd I get this? Something called Metro. Anyway, members of a nonprofit Queens cemetery, that's on Long Island, Queens Cemetery Board plundered its coffers and made off with money meant to keep the burial grounds running, according to a suit filed by the New York State Attorney General. The suit claims that 7 current and former executives on the board of Lutheran All Faiths Cemetery, a not-for-profit located in Middle Village, Queens, paid themselves exorbitant salaries, embezzled took out personal loans and mortgages for family, and paid out bogus retirement money while continuing to work. Okay, exactly what did they do here, allegedly? Let me see. The cemetery president, who sat on the board for 30 years and was compensated to the tune of $5.4 million for the gig, allegedly staged a fake retirement. How do you stage a fake retirement? I don't know, in 2014, for which he was paid $900,000 retirement award, and then continued to work and collect a salary until he was fired in March for not repaying the retirement award. But wait, there's more. And his son allegedly embezzled $63,000 by giving himself unapproved bonuses for 4 years, according to the court papers. And he resigned after the alleged theft was found out. An accountant and lawyer for the board were paid unchecked salaries and fees of over $1 million from 2013 through 2018, the court documents claim. And more, in July 2015, a board member illegally took out a $400,000 loan for his daughters. And yet another board member took out a $500,000 loan for his brother in July of 2017. Now, to me, I don't know about you, but the board of directors of the cemetery, it seems like The Sopranos. I mean, this is Tony Soprano and his gang. I don't know. This was a cemetery on Long Island. Boy, howdy. Okay, let me see. Insurance. That's right. Everybody needs insurance. We have car insurance. We have life insurance, boat insurance, landlord insurance. Oh, let me see. Tenant insurance. That's something you really don't think about, but a tenant needs insurance too. Because let's say that something happens, right? So tenants need insurance too, and you can find those kinds of insurances and more at where else? That's right, the Ryan Agencies. They have 3 offices. They have offices in Hornell. The number, by the way, in Hornell is 324-7500. They have an office in Jasper, 792-3800. And they have another office in Wellsville, 585-593-4244. And they are local. They are expert in insurance. They're experts in insurance. What? Let me see. They offer unbiased advice. They don't work for any one company. They work for a whole bunch of companies. They'll find the best rates for you. So that's what they're looking out for, is you. They're honest people, they're local people, they're really friendly people too. They are the Ryan Agencies.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Eddie Garcia.
Some breaking news from the NFL, where the Dallas Cowboys and holdout running back Ezekiel Elliott agree on a 6-year, $90 million extension that makes him the highest paid running back in the NFL. Elliott, who missed all of training camp, is expected to be at practice today, and Elliott says he'll be ready to play in the season opener Sunday against the Giants. The LA Rams have signed quarterback Jared Goff to a 4-year extension worth $134 million with a record $110 million guaranteed. Goff will now be under contract with the team through the 2024 season. In baseball games of note, the Rays split a doubleheader with the Orioles. They lose game 1 4-2, win the second game 2-0. A's over the Angels 7-5, and the Indians lose to the White Sox 6-5. Tampa Bay holds a 1-game lead over Oakland and Cleveland for the number 1 wildcard spot in the American League. The A's and Indians are now tied for the second wildcard spot. Cubs beat the Mariners 6-1. Phillies over the Reds 6-2, and the Diamondbacks edge the Padres 2-1. Chicago has a 2.5-game lead on Philadelphia, 3.5-game lead on Arizona for the wildcard spot in the National League.
From the Fox Business Network, stock futures are higher after an encouraging report on China's economy. The reading on China's service sector indicates business improved in August despite tariffs imposed by the U.S. And European stocks are higher, with optimism there could be an end to unrest in Hong Kong, because its leader, Carrie Lam, announced the withdrawal of the controversial extradition bill that started the protests. Purdue Pharma, the maker of painkiller OxyContin, is prepared to file for bankruptcy before the end of the month if it doesn't settle lawsuits with cities, counties, and states. The company is accused of aiding the opioid epidemic. Reuters says some states are not satisfied with settlement terms. Purdue wants to file for bankruptcy to avoid a trial scheduled for October 21st. The Dow dropped 285 yesterday. NASDAQ lost 88. S&P was down 20. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Jenny Cosola.
Do you want to learn to speak a new language but don't have enough time? Then you need to try Babbel, the language learning app with plans at up to 50% off right now at Babbel.com. Babbel's lessons are just 15 minutes or less, and you can go at your own pace. You'll be amazed at how easy Babbel makes it. For a limited time, get select Babbel plans for up to 50% off. Just go to Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Today at Simmons Rockwell Ford, drive away in a new Ford F-150 lease for only $339 a month. A new 2019 F-150 STX Crew Cab 4x4 equipped with a 2.7 V6 EcoBoost engine, running boards, 20-inch alloy wheels, lease with no money down and Ford Trade Assist for $339 a month for 36 months. Only tax and DMV fees are due at signing. Shop Simmons-Rockwell.com.
Okay, and here we are. Normally I don't do sports, but this certainly is worth talking about here. This is from Yahoo Sports. DeAndre Hopkins almost skipped game over Bob McNair's inmate comment. Quote, feels like I'm a slave. DeAndre Hopkins skipped practice over late Houston Texan owner Bob McNair's 2017 comment likening NFL players to inmates. In a GQ interview published on Tuesday yesterday, the Texans wide receiver admitted that he almost skipped the game. McNair, who died in November at 81, reportedly made the comment during a 2017 owners meeting while discussing how to approach the issue of players kneeling during the national anthem to protest issues of social injustice and police brutality. We can't have the inmates running the prison, McNair, a campaign contributor to President Donald Trump, said at the meeting, according to ESPN. Why do they throw that in? I don't know. Anyway, so Hopkins, a Colin Kaepernick supporter who was knelt in protest, expounded on his response to McNair's comment in the GQ interview. He said, "Hell yeah, I was about to sit out the game, but I definitely wasn't going to practice. A couple of my teammates about to follow me, but they called them back up to the station, or the stadium. They tried calling me, but I wasn't going back. Hell no." The 7-year pro, who grew up in South Carolina, explained how McNair's comments fell to a man who's a descendant of slaves with family members who relayed stories about living in the Jim Crow South. He said it's hard for people to understand what that means. When your family was slaves, Hopkins said, you can't relate to something like that if your great-uncle's not telling you stories about their parents or their grandparents and what they went through, not even too long ago. So, basically, Hopkins explained it made him feel like he was being treated as a slave. He says, I feel like I'm a slave again, getting ran over. Listen to the master. Go to work. Now, what it doesn't say in this story, I had to look this up, okay? No, it doesn't say in this. You know what this guy's paid? Mr. Hopkins makes $12.5 million a year. $12.5 million a year to play football. Now, I'm not a historian, and I didn't do a lot of research on this, but I think I could do research from now until the cows come home, and I'm never going to find where a slave in the Old South, the old South, was paid $12.5 million a year. Okay? I'm just saying. Maybe $6 million. Tops maybe $6 million. Slaves weren't paid $12.5 million a year to play a game. Okay? So I don't know exactly what he's talking about, but he feels like he's a slave again. He feels like a slave again. Unless he's maybe a reincarnation or something, I have no idea. So this guy said that Bob McNair's comment made him feel like a slave, and he's very upset, and he got really sad, and that's that. Okay, what else here? I had one more. Let me see. Is there time? Yes, there is. A guy in Canada, in Ontario, Canada, he's in court, and he was charged. What was he charged? He was charged with drunk driving. So the 35-year-old man is sentenced to, a fine, and then he wasn't allowed to drive for the entire year. The next year, he could not drive for a year. So he walks out of the courthouse, gets in his car, and drives away after being told not to drive for a year. So a cop who was outside said, hey, wait a minute, I just saw this guy in the court. the judge just told him he can't drive for a year, and he just got in his car. Well, anyway, so they got him, and now he's in jail. Okay, there you go, and I will see you tomorrow at 8:05. Bye.